Okay, JP just said, how is it possible for some organizations to hire an ISSO with little or no experience? Is it something you learn as you go? I can give you some examples of people I've worked with who had little or no experience. It really depends on the needs of the organization. Sometimes the organization just needs somebody who is good at documentation. They don't need somebody with a lot of IT experience. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience, and anytime I've seen somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience, the person who they bring in will have some sort of documentation experience. They'll have like technical writing experience, but they won't necessarily have an IT background. And sometimes I've seen the person doesn't have a lot of IT experience. They have some, and then they have some ISO experience, but they'll have a security clearance. They'll have a TSSCI or something, security clearance, and then they'll get their foot in the door. And the reason why that is because a TSSCI especially is expensive for the organization. So if they can save money by bringing you in and training you, and they didn't have to pay, I think it's 10 grand or something to get you a security clearance. And it's also a pain because sometimes they'll spend the money to have you have an SBI and they can't get you that clearance, right? But if you already have one, that saves them a lot of time and money, and they could just focus on teaching you IT and doing on-the-job training. It depends on the job too, because if it's not a really technical job and it's just purely compliance, then they might be able to teach you. They might feel like, well, we can teach this guy. When I first got out of the military, I had experience, but they were looking for a CISSP or a person with like 8 years of experience, and I did not have that at the time. So they hired me. I said, no, at the time, I didn't have a security plus. I had a CCNA. I was a very technical dude. I had a network plus, an A plus, and a bunch of other technical certifications. Entry-level technical experience is what I had. But I did have experience doing some, what we call it at the time was SSAAs, System Security Authorization Agreements. And I had that experience. I knew how to do DITS cap is what they called it. And so they hired me in and they said, look, we need you to have a CISSP. They said, look, we're going to give you 1 year to get one. And then I did it in about a year and a half and I got a security plus and stuff. So it just depends, JP.